What if the very things most men chase, attention, validation, approval, are the exact things quietly killing attraction? And what if the men women remember most, the men they think about long after the conversation ends, are often the men who never try too hard in the first place? Before we begin, if you want stronger confidence, deeper emotional control, and a better understanding of attraction through the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and watch until the end, because what you're about to hear could completely change the way you approach love, relationships, and yourself. Imagine a young man, smart, kind, hardworking. He did everything people told him to do. Be nice, be available, reply fast, show her how much you care, always be there. And yet, somehow, he kept losing. Women would smile at him, talk to him, even appreciate him, but the attraction never stayed. He became the emotional support guy, the safe guy, the "you're such a good person" guy. And every time he heard those words, a part of him quietly broke. One night, frustrated and tired, he found himself reading the words of Marcus Aurelius, and one sentence hit him harder than anything he had ever heard. You have power over your mind, not outside events. That single idea changed everything, because he realized attraction doesn't begin with what you say, it begins with who you are when you say nothing. And today, we're going to explore 5 Stoic things that make women melt, 5 timeless principles, rooted in masculine emotional mastery that most men completely miss. Let's begin. The first thing: emotional calm under pressure. Most men fall apart the moment a woman becomes distant. She takes longer to reply. She seems colder than usual. She cancels plans. And suddenly his mind starts racing. Did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest? Is there another guy? He overthinks. He double texts. He explains himself when nobody asked. He tries to fix a problem that may not even exist. And in doing that, he loses something powerful: his center. But the Stoic man is different. He understands something most people never learn. Silence is not always rejection. Distance is not always disinterest. And uncertainty is not an emergency. When things shift, he doesn't panic. He observes. He remains calm. He doesn't react emotionally just because the situation changed, and that calmness is magnetic. Because emotional stability makes a woman feel something very rare: safety. Not safety from the world, safety from chaos. A man who can stay composed when others become emotional creates an energy women naturally feel drawn toward. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but your estimate of it." The Stoic man lives by that. He doesn't allow temporary emotions to control permanent behavior, and that level of control makes him unforgettable. The second thing: a life that doesn't revolve around her. This might sound harsh, but it's one of the deepest truths in attraction. Many men lose themselves the moment they meet someone they like. Suddenly, their schedule changes. Their priorities shift. Their mission gets delayed. Their friends hear from them less. Their goals become secondary. Everything begins revolving around one person, and at first, it may look romantic, but over time, it becomes heavy. Because attraction doesn't grow in desperation. It grows in presence, combined with purpose. The Stoic man never abandons his path. He can care deeply without becoming dependent. He can love without losing direction. He has things that matter beyond romance: his work, his discipline, his growth, his mission, and women feel that. They sense when a man's world is bigger than his desire for approval. That energy creates respect, and respect creates attraction. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he constantly reminded himself to stay focused on duty. He understood that emotional distractions can destroy clarity, and the Stoic man applies that same principle in relationships. He doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He doesn't build his identity around being wanted. He builds his identity around becoming worthy, And ironically, that's what makes him wanted. The third thing, the power of mystery. One of the biggest mistakes men make is saying too much, too soon. They overshare. They explain every emotion. They reveal every insecurity. They try to fill every silence. Why? Because silence feels uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Mystery creates emotional tension, and emotional tension creates attraction. The Stoic man doesn't speak just to be heard. He speaks with purpose. When he talks, his words carry weight. Because he doesn't waste them. He understands that not everything needs to be explained. Not every thought needs to be expressed. Not every emotion needs immediate release. And this creates something incredibly powerful. Curiosity. A woman starts wondering, what is he thinking? Why is he so calm? Why doesn't he seek validation? Why does he seem so grounded? And the more she wonders, the more emotionally invested she becomes. Mystery isn't about playing games. It's about having enough inner depth that you don't feel the need to constantly prove yourself. The Stoics believed in speaking less, but meaning more. And in a world full of noise, a quiet man with depth becomes impossible to ignore. The fourth thing, standards without apology. A lot of men say they want respect. But when boundaries are tested, they fold. They tolerate disrespect. Mixed. Signals, manipulation, emotional games. Why? Because they're afraid of losing her, and that fear makes them weak. But the Stoic man understands something critical. If you abandon your standards to keep someone, you've already lost. He doesn't argue for respect. He embodies it. If someone crosses a line, he notices. If behavior becomes toxic, he steps back. Not with anger, not with drama, but with clarity. That's power. Because real strength doesn't scream. It walks away when necessary. And women deeply respect a man who values himself enough to protect his peace. Think about it. A man who accepts anything communicates one thing. I don't believe I deserve better. But a man who calmly holds boundaries communicates something entirely different. I know who I am. And confidence rooted in self-respect is one of the strongest forms of attraction. Marcus Aurelius said, "Never value anything as profitable to you if it compels you to break your word or lose your self-respect." The Stoic man lives by this. No attention, no beauty, no relationship is worth losing himself. And that level of self-respect changes everything. The fifth thing, deep listening and emotional control. Most men listen to reply. The Stoic man listens to understand. And that difference is massive. When a woman speaks, many men rush to impress. They interrupt. They tell stories about themselves. They offer solutions nobody asked for. They compete for attention. But the Stoic man, he pays attention. He watches her words, her energy, her pauses, her emotions. He notices what she says and what she avoids saying. Because he understands that true connection isn't built through talking. It's built through understanding. And when a woman feels truly understood, something inside her softens. Walls begin to drop. Defenses start fading, and trust begins to grow. But here's what makes it even more powerful. He doesn't absorb her emotions and lose control. He remains emotionally grounded. If she's upset, he doesn't become reactive. If she tests him, he doesn't become defensive. If tension appears, he doesn't become insecure. He stays centered. And that combination, presence plus emotional strength, creates a kind of attraction most men never learn how to build. Because the truth is, women don't just respond to looks, they respond to energy, and energy comes from who you are internally, not what you pretend to be externally. Now here's where everything changes. That young man we talked about in the beginning, the one who kept losing himself, he stopped chasing, he stopped over-explaining, he stopped living for validation. Instead, he focused on his body, his mind, his discipline, his mission, his peace. He became harder to shake, harder to manipulate, harder to ignore. And something unexpected happened. The women who once overlooked him started noticing him. The ones who kept him as an option started feeling uncertain, curious, drawn in. But by then, he had changed because he no longer needed attraction to feel valuable. And that is the greatest Stoic lesson of all. The moment you stop needing external validation, you become internally powerful. And internal power is what people feel before you even speak. Remember this. Women may notice confidence. They may admire success. They may be attracted to strength, but what truly makes them melt is emotional mastery. A man who stays calm under pressure, a man who has purpose, a man who doesn't overshare, a man who holds standards, a man who listens deeply, a man who controls himself before trying to control anything else. That man doesn't chase attention. Attention finds him. And maybe the real goal was never learning how to attract women. Maybe the real goal was becoming the kind of man who no longer needs to. And with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.